Hi, today we're going to be looking at how the government measures the economy in terms of changes in prices, sometimes called inflation, but really only inflation if prices are going up. When the prices are going down, we call that deflation. But the overall change in prices is what we're mostly concerned with today, and how that's measured and what it tells us about the health of the economy. So the first thing we need to recognize is that the economy has lots of different products and services, and the prices are going up for some and down for others. And so when the government is attempting to measure changes in price or inflation, they're looking at a general trend among all of the different products and services that are out there that people could buy. And so the way they go about measuring that general trend is by calculating what we call a consumer price index. So the United States government looks at the types of goods and services a typical family in an urban situation would pay for, and they look at how much that basket of goods, that fixed set of products and services, would cost from year to year to year. So when we measure GDP, we recognize that to calculate the size of the economy, it's price times quantity for every single good. Because we're interested in seeing how quantity changes, we hold price constant. In this case, again, price times quantity tells us the value of goods and services, but now we want to see how price changes, so we hold quantity constant, and that's what this consumer market basket is all about. When they calculate the value of that set of goods, we look and see whether it increases or not. So if we see a % increase in the consumer price index, that's an indication of inflation. It means that the value of our money is being reduced because it takes more dollars to buy the same set of goods that it did before. And so that means it's a decrease in our real income. Our money does not go as far, so for all intents and purposes, in real terms, I actually have less purchasing power than I had before. And there's a simple formula for determining how much less, and that's that we take our nominal change in wages and we subtract the inflation rate to tell us what our real income is. So for example, if my salary went up 5% and there was 3% inflation, that means that while I might have 5% more dollars than before, I can only buy 2% more products and services than I did before because everything's now more expensive by 3%. Similarly, if I had a nominal increase of 0, say my wages were flat this year, no raise but no cut, then if I had 2% inflation, then in real terms I had a cut in pay. So while the number of dollars didn't change, how much it can buy did. And so in real terms, with a 0% change in wage and a 2% inflation, I've lost 2% of my purchasing power. The government could also measure changes in CPI and see that there's a % decrease in it. When the consumer price index gets smaller, we see an increase in the value of money because now it takes fewer dollars to buy the same amount of products and services. So therefore, we have an increase in our real income. How we calculate it is a relatively simple procedure. First, we have to calculate our price index and then look at the % change from one index number to the next based on a value for a set basket of goods. So in this example, we say that the quantity of goods we want to buy are 2 shoes, 4 pants, and 3 shirts. This basket of goods, this quantity for each of these 3 products, will never change. We just want to see how much this group of products costs from year to year and track that change and call that either inflation or deflation. So the first thing we need to do is calculate how much we're spending on this set of goods in year 1. To find that out, I would say the number of shoes, 2, times the price, 8, means I'm spending $16 on shoes. I'm spending $40 on pants and $21 on shirts. When I add up all of those expenditures together, I find that this basket of goods costs $77. And when I do the same thing for year 2, I see that some of these prices have gone up. Shoes are more expensive, pants are less expensive, and shirts have gone up. So what does that do? How much inflation is there? We have to calculate the total expenditures. So I see that I've spent 2 shoes at $10 a piece, $20 on shoes. 4 times 9 tells me $36 on pants. 3 times 8, $24 on shirts. Add all of that together, we find that the same set of goods which cost us $77 in year 1 costs us $80 in year 2. To figure out the price index, I will take the cost of the basket in a given year and divide it by the base year and multiply by 100. In this case, we'll use year 1 as the base. So the price index for year 1 would be the cost of the basket, $77, divided by the base year price, $77, and multiply it by 100, in which case our price index is 100. To find the index number for year 2, I would take the cost of the basket in year 2, 80, divide it by the cost in the base year, 77, and multiply by 100. In this case, I get 103.9 after rounding. I can use these numbers to then calculate the percent change and to determine from that what the rate of inflation or deflation was. To find percent change, it's basic sort of early elementary math. We take our new value minus our old value, divide it by the old value, and multiply by 100. So we take our new value, 103.9, new, minus the old, 100, divided by old, and multiply it by 100, and we get the percent increase in overall prices from year 1 to year 2. In this case, we would get 3.9%. And if we wanted to, we could figure out a year 3. We could add in new prices for year 3 and calculate an expenditure. And take that expenditure and divide it by the year 1 price, and that would get us a year 3 index number. And we could find the percent increase in prices from year 1 to year 3 by doing the year 3 index minus 100 divided by 100 times 100. That would get us a percent increase from year 1 to year 3. If I wanted to know the percent increase from year 2 to year 3, I would figure out what the index number was for year 3. We'll come up with an example here in just a second. Let's say that the index number for year 3, and let's just write this here, year 3. Let's say the index number for year 3 was 108.4. Then to find the rate of inflation from year 2 to year 3, I would use the same formula, new minus old divided by old. So this new value would be 108.4 minus the old value, in this case 103.9, because that's the original year that we want to measure change from, divided by the old value, which is 103.9, and multiply all of that by 100. And if you do all of that math, you'll find then that the rate of inflation will be 4.33% from year 2 to year 3. And that's really all you need to do to be able to calculate changes in price and price indexes. We have some practice problems in class, and clearly you can come see me if you have any questions or concerns.